Hi Pisces, here's a general look at your solar chart for July 2014, and there are two major moves this month coming up from two of the planets that have been in long transits, and that means that you will start feeling the energies mix in a different kind of a way. There will be different sort of swirling of the dynamics due to the moves of Mars and Jupiter. But here's the overview. And the focus is going to be, I would say, on the domestic setup, or if you're not at home, an HQ. It'll be centered around family or extended family or a neighborhood or a locality. But there's a special emphasis on young people, children, animals, and maybe something leisure orientated, enterprising, competitive. Also romantic, so romance could be part of the picture for some of you, depending on whether you're drawing that to you at the moment, or indeed it can be established relationships that you're really getting an awful lot out of, and you feel someone's loving glance is coming in your direction, and you are returning those. And also Mars is shifting out of this very deep, emotional, rather intense, sometimes turbulent area of your natal chart into a more outgoing, less introspective, upbeat area for the next 7 weeks, because Mars comes back into his normal cycle again. And this will help you feel a lot more well, less inward, really, less, pondering and mulling thing, sort of down in yourself, maybe in your gut self, or your intuitive self, or just in your emotional self, and looking outwards in a more extrovert kind of a way, and thinking about the future, feeling enthusiastic about the future. And don't get too starry-eyed, and keep at least one Piscean foot on, or fin, should I say, on the ground, because with such strong Jupiter and Neptune energy around, you need to keep things in perspective. You need to keep a balanced view. And also there's going to be a new moon in Leo, and that will mean some kind of new beginning going on for you in your area of the dynamic of sort of daily routines, work, your daily chores, but also it could mean health matters as well. And Jupiter is also moving into that area, but more on that later. It's altogether a good energy though in there. Now until the 23rd, there's a brighter, less inward vibration around. This is the long version, and you will be have more opportunity to have a laugh, be in environments that you enjoy, hang out with people that you get, you get the feel-good factor. The tendency is going in that direction, and if not sort of blatant feel-good factor, then at least you feel at home, you feel a security there. Until mid-month, both Mercury and Venus are in an area revolving around family, extended family, like I said, a neighborhood, or it can be like tribal connections as well, like extended family connections. And you could be feeling quite sensitive. You could be at times, harking back to the past. Maybe there are elements of the past which are being very, very strongly influential in the now. You could be considering tradition, you could be considering a legacy of some kind, and also there could be more contact with parents, or the whole concept of parenting, indeed. So it tends to be quite a mentally busy time, with lots of chatting and gossiping, and maybe from home over the wires at your HQ, whether you're at home or not. And it's got a lot of friendly energy with it, because Venus is there as well, and this can manifest as this welcoming feeling, this inward balance, and it could be a good time for you to appreciate what you have, your point on the map, your surroundings, your location, your environment, also the people in your life, whether that's family, close friends, neighborhood, wherever it is, just appreciating that, tending to appreciate that more. And then from mid-month, Mercury moves, well, actually it's the 13th, Mercury moves out of there and joins the position of the Sun, which is this sort of spontaneous area, this area to do with feeling empowered, and actually really quite a sunny area indeed. It is the house of the Sun. So that is the place where you can feel that confidence coming from your solar plexus. Feel, I mean, literally, quite literally, you can take it literally, and be basking more in the sun and just enjoying the warmth of that, you know, just that tangible opening and relaxing that the sun can, that effect that the sun can create. And then Venus comes in that same area there a little bit later on the 19th, and then that amplifies the possibility of, well, I call this the house of fun, you know, so it amplifies the possibility of having a party, having a really, really spontaneous, unself-conscious time. And there may be happier connections with children, young people, animals, pets, partners, romantic partners, and in general this energy links you to anything you personally find empowering. You when you're doing it, you really do feel like you're getting, it just touches the spot, you know what I mean? It's very rewarding feeling like, yes. And it can be to do with performance art as well. It can be to do with entertainment industry and entertainment activities, leisure activities. So the Sun moves on the 23rd out of there into a more sort of serious, hard-working area where you can then utilize that side of yourself which isn't being self-indulgent and is providing a service. So you may be dealing more with chores, niggly details, and actually maybe picking up the pieces after all the partying that's been going on. And you'll be putting more effort into maintenance, repairs, these kind of things, you know, that happen every day. Okay, you've got to do this, and then once I've done that, that'll mean I'll be able to do this, and then once I've mended that or got that repaired, then I'll be able to do this. And it's a little bit like that, also keeping a weather eye on health. It might not be so much the work side of things or the colleague side of things, but it might be the health, your own or somebody else's, excuse me, that you will be concerned about. But because Mercury and Venus are still in the house of fun, then there's likely to be a lot, you know, high spots along the way, and enjoyment along the way as well. And Mars is about to move, but Mars has been in this like deep area of you coming up against resistances within, or maybe trying to kick a bad habit. And you know it's a bad habit, but every time you turn around, you find yourself doing it again. Oh, was that me? Oh, yes, it was. Oh, dear. Oh, well. Pick myself up and dust myself off and start all over again. So it might be that. It might be something else. It might be to do with something that you don't want to let on to too many people. And you also, during this long transit, have been able to tap deeply into your invisible army, your invisible team beyond the veil, for those of you working like that, and that coming to you really more smoothly, more clearly and more accurately maybe than ever before. And this is also an area about inheritance, about debts, about researching into something, digging and delving and getting to the bottom of something. And very much a sensing area, a sensitive area and a sensing area. Anyway, Mars is coming out of there. And also it's been to do with joint property matters, joint financial matters as well. So you're not having a free hand here. You're always having to defer to this agreement or contract or this other person, you see. So anyway, Mars coming out of there, then you'll start to feel a lot freer, and it goes into this very outgoing area where the distant horizons beckon. You could be traveling. People could be visiting you from abroad, from a long way off, and you could be, it's a great time to actually get out of the routine box and get into doing something which is very, very different and unfamiliar to you, and just refreshing your mental palette, you connecting yourself to a study of some kind. This is a house of communications, so there, if you need a good teacher, if you need guidance, if you need advice, this would be a great time to get that. Or indeed, others could view you as the teacher, the mentor, the advisor for them, because you're a wise old one, you've been around for a while, or you're just really, really smart and clever, even though you're still very young. So in their eyes, I mean. So it's all about perception, really. But yes, we learn a thing or two along the way, and this would be a time to share that. This is also the area of broadcasting, publishing, and the like. So beating the drum on something, promoting something as well. That's another way that one can work. And that's there for 7 weeks from the 26th. Now, Saturn is in this same area, and meaning that you are slowly developing your ability with your knowledge of a subject, maybe your articulacy, your a very good time to slowly and gradually, as that Saturn style, slow and steady and sure and very gradual, to grasp, a subject. So to train in something, to take a course in something, to give a course in something, to write the instruction book, to write the novel, to write the, or to use some other medium of self-expression. So be steady, be patient, and just, slowly build up your whatever it is, because Saturn is the great builder. So build up your knowledge base, build up your reputation, and just, appreciate that you are slowly but surely climbing the ladder, and adding more and more and more to your not so much knowledge, but to your experience, really, and not being so starry-eyed and idealistic about this or that or the other thing, but becoming very, very, very informed. And you Pisceans born in the middle 10 days or with 15 to 17 degrees rising are going to feel this energy the most. Neptune's in your sign, as you will know, and you Pisceans born in the first 10 days or 6 to 8 degrees rising are going to feel the energy of this very slippery energy of Neptune, and just make sure that you don't become more the prop for others, the one that's holding it all up from underneath, and you need to just keep it a reasonable, balanced dynamic between your needs and the needs of others, and definitely, be separating the needy from the greedy, and just integrate, the thread of your life in this great weaving as well, and then that'll be fine. Jupiter is moving from an area which has been quite creative, quite orientated towards young people, children, pets, animals, And so learning an awful lot through your interaction with your pets, your children, or other young people, or maybe it's not like that at all. Maybe it's through a creative venture, a speculative venture, and something very enterprising, which you are taking a bit of risk on, but learning, you know, really wising up and getting savvy, but expanding through this area here. And it's to do with entertainments, it's to do with romantic encounters as well. And it is now coming to an end. The party's over, and it's time to pay the piper, as it were. It doesn't have to be terribly serious, but Jupiter is moving out of there and moving into the area of being of service to others, being useful, finding new methodologies, new techniques, maybe even changing the way you work, the paraphernalia we use at work, or maybe you're going to change the way the work you do, and provide a service in another kind of a way. This is very much to do with service, this area here, and it can be about employment, but it can also simply be about your daily tasks, your daily duties, your daily routines, and you're finding that they're changing. You're finding that you're figuring out how to be, not to work harder necessarily, but to how to work smarter. So yeah, and there's watch that space, because that's likely to be interesting. There's also the new moon in there, so for the 4 weeks from the 26th, when the new moon comes in there, that would be a good time for you to be looking into how you can make positive changes in that area there of work. And it's also the area of health. It might not be so much about work. For some of you, it might be more about health matters, and therefore thinking bigger about both of those things, and reaching out into unfamiliar areas where anything to do with the job, anything to do with employment, but health and diet, exercise, remedies, therapies, all of that is concerned. And that's it for July. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those. And also, if you want to check anything, you can always read all of this on my website. And oh yes, and by the way, the last 10 days, they look pretty good. They're packed with potential and quite uplifting, quite upbeat, that last 10 days there. Yeah, and that really is it. So I'll see you the next time.